guys, Dr. Emily here for our Immune Boosters workshop webinar style. And so I'm so excited for the information that I'm going to be presenting today. So just a quick welcome and introduction about myself. I am a chiropractor here in Hastings, and really what has fueled my passion about this topic and we see a lot of families and kids in our office is really my own family, and I've seen the benefit of things that we're going to be talking about and how it really has helped my family not get sick as often, and then if we do get sick, we get over that sickness faster. And I really believe we hear it from our wellness patients too, that they notice positive changes with the overall health of their family as far as sickness and immune function goes. So what, we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about a few different things related to the immune function, and then some take-home strategies for you to be implementing for you and your family. And I love the quote that says, knowledge is power, but that's really not quite accurate. I like it better when it's applied knowledge is power. Okay, so I really want you to think about what is something that you can take away from this webinar that is going to make a shift in your family's health or your health. And, when I think about it, if you have the same thoughts, you take the same actions, you get the same results. And so what we're going to be talking about is your thoughts, and what is some more knowledge, things that you can be doing to change your thoughts, change your actions, and hopefully change your results and have a healthier family this winter. Okay, and then, so we are coming up on, or we are in the heart of cold and flu season. And it's a stressful time. We all as parents hate seeing our kids sick. We hate being sick. Missing school, missing work, rearranging schedules, and how that can be stressful, especially going into the holiday season ahead when oftentimes schedules are busier. One concept that we're going to talk about today is something called adaptability, and basically our body's ability to adapt to sickness or to germs. And we all know somebody who gets sick all the time, seems to always have that chronic cold. And then we also know people who seem to not get sick very often. And and some of us may even have kids that it's always this one kid always seems to be sick and the other are fine. And what's the difference in there? Well, it's their body's ability to adapt to the different germs and sicknesses that they're exposed to. And so what affects their body's ability to adapt is different stressors. And, I think when I say the word stress, people immediately think of emotional stress, but really stress, it comes in three different forms. So physical stress, posture can be something for adults as we're sitting more commonly at computers, driving. For kids, thinking about falls, sports injuries, even the birth process can be a physical stress on their body. And then we move to emotional stress, and that's the one that most of us think about when we hear the word stress. It is financial stress, emotional, relationship stress, family stress, busy schedule stress, all of those things. And then chemical stress is basically what we put into our body, either knowingly or unknowingly. And diet is a big thing with that, and we'll be talking about that and how our diets may be changing, especially this time of year with holiday season. And so thinking about adaptability, it's really two different components. And first off, we can think about if we can limit the amount of stressors in our body, then our body doesn't have to fight so hard. We don't have to be trying to adapt to all these different negative stressors. So thinking about how well do we adapt is the other part. And so making our body strong and healthy and our immune system strong is going to make our body's ability to adapt to those germs and sicknesses easier. Okay, so thinking about this time of year, it's called cold and flu season, and I think that's kind of a funny funny term because it's not like cold and flu bugs go on vacation over the summer or they hibernate the rest of the year and then they all of a sudden come out in the fall and winter months, right? So in general, we're exposed to the same germs all year round, but there's something that happens within us that changes our body's ability to adapt to those germs. And so there are 5 different things that really are make a shift this time of year. So the first one is increased carbs and sugar season. Okay, starting really at Halloween and going through New Year's. It is definitely thinking about increased sugar with candy, with Christmas cookies, with pies coming up next week for Thanksgiving. And then also comfort foods. As we're getting into the winter months, oftentimes those are more of those breads, pastas, all of those things. That is a different stress on our body and not as nourishing and as healthy and can depress the immune system, which we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Second thing is increased stress season, all right? With busy schedules and the holidays, definitely that emotional stress. If we're in that stressed out state, our body is not going to be prioritizing our immune function, and so then you're more likely to get sick. The third thing is lack of sunshine season, all right? Especially being here in the Midwest, in Minnesota, a lot of people don't realize that vitamin D plays a huge role in our immune function. And when we're going into the fall, winter months, we're not getting exposed to the sunshine, which is one of the biggest ways that we get our vitamin D. And even if we are outside, we're oftentimes all bundled up and we don't get that sun exposure for our bodies to get the vitamin D. So thinking about that is definitely a stress that depresses our immune function. The fourth season is lack of physical activity season. You just think about, the days are shorter. The sun goes down, it's dark a lot earlier. The sun comes up later. So the amount of time we have to be outside is less. The weather is colder. I just think about over the summer when I would get home from work, our whole family would go out for a walk. It's just a fun thing to do. And now we cozy up inside because it's dark and it's cold. So overall, our physical activity oftentimes decreases. And then also thinking about with the busy season of the holidays ahead, oftentimes that physical activity gets knocked down on our priority list and we may not be working out as frequently as we had been. The fifth thing that is the season that oftentimes can contribute to this cold and flu season is poor sleep season. Okay, so oftentimes with the time changes and this time of year, busyness of getting into the routine of school and all of that, sometimes that can affect how much sleep that we get and the quality of sleep when we are in more of that stressed state. Okay, so that's talking about cold and flu season and how it may not be so much related to external things, but more internal things from within us. Next topic I want to think about and I want to talk about is symptoms. Are symptoms a good thing or not? And a lot of people, you think about it, of course you don't want to have symptoms. Nobody wants to have a cold or fever or sinus congestion. It's not fun. But shifting your thought on that, and actually symptoms are a good thing in the sense that that's your immune system working and doing its job. So let's take fever, for example. So fever, it's raising the core temperature. So if you were to go camping up in like the Boundary Waters, say, and you wanted to drink water from the river, what do you need to do to the water before you can drink it? You have to boil it, right? And the boiling kills off any bad germs, so then it's safe for you to drink that water. Same concept in our body. Our body knows, it senses the foreign invaders, those germs, and it knows exactly what temperature it needs to raise the body temperature to so that your body can kill off the germs and then you can get well faster. And so oftentimes, I get it as a mom, you don't want to see your child suffer, but when we reach for that fever reducing medication to bring down that fever. But really, when you think about the immune function, it's like a muscle. And so if I were to do a bicep curl and that, to get the full effect of a bicep curl, you need to do the full range of motion. And so same thing, if you allow the symptoms, say the fever, for example, like we were talking about, if you let the fever run its course, of course monitoring and keeping yourself or your child well hydrated and comfortable and all of those good things, then oftentimes what we see is that the fever kicks the sickness faster and the kids actually get better faster, and it also makes that immune system stronger because it had a chance to do the full range of motion, versus if we are treating the symptoms with a medication, it's like the immune system is only working this much and never really gets stronger. So thinking about throwing up, as much as that's not fun or fun cleaning up, something was in there in your digestive system that's not supposed to be there, and that's your body's way of getting it out, right? Same with congestion, stuffy nose, your body is pushing that crud out, so get it draining. It's very typical, and maybe this sounds like your kid, but those kids that have just that chronic stuffy nose, crusty nose all winter long, it's like their body is never, it's just kind of maintaining, and that immune function doesn't ever quite get to the level it needs to fully kick the sickness out of their system, and it's just that low grade sickness all winter long. It seems like it's cold after cold after cold. Okay, so shifting your thoughts on on symptoms can really play a big role in how you look at your health, your family's health, and certainly time and need for medications and other things, but not jumping to that as your first resort. And we'll talk about what you can do if you are sick or your child is sick. Okay, so then what we're going to talk about is the nervous system and how that plays a role in our immune function. And a lot of people are like, hang on, what are you talking about? This is the immune function workshop. Well, the nervous system is what tells everything in our body how to function, right? So I've got my spine model here. And so if you think about it, our brain sits up here in our skull and sends messages down the spinal cord, and then there's these spinal nerves that exit between each spinal bone to go to every single part of our body, right? So every muscle, every organ, every cell is controlled by that nervous system. What happens is different stressors, physical, chemical, emotional stressors that we talked about in the beginning, can sometimes shift the spine out of alignment, and that causes inflammation around that nerve. I like to think of the analogy of thinking of these as little hoses going out to our body, and if that hose, if there's a kink in the hose, if there's inflammation around that nerve, it's interfering with how well the brain and the body are able to communicate. So in particular, in this upper neck area is a big area for the immune function, because this is where the nerves go to the ears, eyes, nose, throat, sinuses, and immune function. Okay, and so making sure that this area of the spine is in alignment is going to allow your body's ability to the immune system to be as strong as possible to get over that sickness faster. So we always tell patients, if you feel like you're getting sick or you are sick, come in. We're not scared of germs here. Come in and get your adjustment so that your body is working at 100% and can get over that sickness as quickly as possible. I also like the analogy of thinking of the spine as kind of like a fuse box. And it's like if the spine is shifted out of alignment, it's like that's a blown fuse. And what chiropractors do with adjustments, it's like we flip the switch back on, allowing for that power to be restored, that communication from the brain to the body, and allowing the body to function and heal the way that it's supposed to. And another thing to think about when it comes to our nervous system and the overall alignment of our spine is that stress response. When our spine is out of alignment, it's putting stress on the nervous system, which is then putting stress on our whole body. And if you think about if we're in that stressed out state, if our body thinks we are going to be, fighting a tiger, what do you think it's going to prioritize? That immune function, No, it's not. It's in protection mode. Your body is going to, things like digestion and sleep and immune function are going to be put on the back burner because in that chronic stress protective state, your body's not worrying about those things. So thinking about adjustments help decrease the overall stress on our body and on our nervous system so our body functions the way it's designed to. Okay, so what are the things that we should be doing to help overall, we're going to talk about two different things. What are things that you should be doing on a regular basis to help improve your body's health, your children's health, help their body's ability to adapt to sickness and germs. But then also, if you're sick, if your kids are sick, what are good action items to be doing to really ramp up their immune system so that they can get over that sickness sooner than later? All right, so thinking about 5 ways to improve the overall immune function. First thing, of course, is getting adjusted. Like I said, people come in when they're feeling sick for sickness to get adjusted, turn on that power, allow their body to be functioning at 100%, help boost the immune system, get over it faster. Studies have shown that chiropractic adjustments actually improve immune function by 200%. And it also decreases inflammation throughout the body. So that's going to be very beneficial as well for your body's ability to fight off sickness. The second thing is eating a whole food diet and limiting those carbs and sugars. I know it is a hard time of year to be doing that, but as much as you can, trying to fill your diet with lean protein, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, drinking a lot of water. Half our body weight in ounces per day is the recommendation for intake of water, even for those kids. Keep pushing the water. And limiting the carbs because those cause inflammation within our body. And like I said, inflammation is not good in general, but it's especially not good when we're fighting when we're for the immune function or when we're fighting a sickness. Next thing is adequate sleep and making sure that you are getting 7 to 8 hours a night every night, and trying to build that into your routine of, going to bed at a certain time and waking up around the same time each day, even into the weekends, because it's very common that we make that shift. Our schedule is probably a little bit different when it comes to the weekends, but having that consistent routine is really important. Fourth thing is physical activity. Exercise is really important. I'm just going to get a drink of water here quick. Sorry, I'm talking so much. My throat is getting a little dry. Physical activity, exercise, we all know it's good for us, right? But it really does play a good role in boosting that immune system and moving, if we're exposed to germs and sickness, what it does is flushes it out faster. And so it doesn't actually turn into a cold or flu. And another thing is wellness supplements. And there are 4 supplements that I recommend all people, little kids to adults, be on as a wellness regimen. And those 4 are quality multivitamin. First, before I talk about this, I want to talk about quality of supplements is definitely a big thing. And don't just run to Target or Walmart and grab whatever they have, because those supplements are not going to be nearly as effective as high quality professional grade supplements. So it definitely plays a role in how your body's ability to absorb those supplements. And then also some of those lower quality supplements have fillers that are not so good for our body. So quality does matter, and it's worth the investment of, oftentimes higher quality is a little bit more expensive. And if finances are a concern, I always tell patients, just make it last longer. So take half of the dose every day or take it every day. But definitely I'd rather have you be taking a quality supplement a little bit less often than taking a not so quality supplement. Okay, so The 4, multivitamin is really great. Even if you have a good diet, oftentimes we have gaps to fill, and so a good quality multivitamin is going to do that for us. Second one is vitamin D. So like I talked about, this time of year, we're not getting adequate amounts of vitamin D oftentimes. So so that is a great way. And there was a study that actually took a group of people who took 2,000 IU of vitamin D each day, and then a group of people who got the flu vaccine. And the study actually showed that people who took vitamin D had less incidences of the flu. So definitely that is a huge one, especially this time of year. And then next one is fish oil. Fish oil is wonderful in so many regards. It's the natural anti-inflammatory. It's helpful in our neurological health, cardiovascular health, but again, decreasing that inflammation is going to help with that immune response. And then the 4th one is probiotics. Probiotics are the good bacteria that live in our gut, and the gut plays such a big role in our immune function. A lot of people don't realize about 80% of our immune cells actually live in our gut. And so making sure you have a healthy gut is going to be really important when you get exposed to germs and sickness. That's like your body's first line of defense oftentimes. And if you have a healthy gut, your body is going to be able to adapt to those germs more easily. Okay, so those are the 4 that I recommend on a wellness basis. All right, so what happens when you are sick or your kid is sick? What I like to think about is nurturing your body or your kid's body without hindering that natural immune response. So like we talked about, trying to think about ways to boosting their immune system rather than really treating the symptoms. So what are things you can be doing? So of course, getting adjustments is really getting boost adjustments when you are sick. You feel like you're getting sick is a really important thing. Then also getting some physical activity. A good rule of thumb, if the sickness is from the neck up, some light to moderate activity is good and encouraged because, again, that gets things moving and flowing. If it's more of like a chest congestion or coughing or digestive problems, then it's probably better to just lay low and let your body rest. But just listen to your body. If you are exercising and you're just not feeling right, then maybe it is better to just rest. But some light to moderate exercise can be helpful for those kids. Get them outside, bundle them up. If they're not super sick, bundle them out and get them outside, even for 10 minutes. Have them play tag or play a fun game, racing around, get that heart rate going and get things moving. For like really congested kids or yourself, taking a hot shower or a steam bath can be helpful in draining those sinuses. Increasing fluids, push the water. One thing with this that is very common that people think drinking orange juice is a really great way to boost that vitamin C, boost that immune system. But one thing with juices is there's a lot of hidden sugars. And so sugar is going to increase inflammation, increase congestion, and really depress that immune function. So juice is not the best choice for when you are sick. Rather, eating an orange or taking a vitamin C supplement is going to be a better way to get that vitamin C. If you have little babies who are still nursing, just nurse them like crazy. It is one of the best. That stuff is liquid gold. Seriously, it's one of the best things, and a lot of people don't realize that a mom's breast milk actually changes when the baby is sick to be exactly what that baby needs. It changes the antibodies. So it is so great, and they'll probably want to nurse more frequently because that comfort part of it, and go for it if you can. That is really important take extra rest, going to bed earlier, taking extra naps, even just looking at your schedule. And if you're not feeling well, take some things off your schedule and just lay low. I know it's hard to do. It's hard to say no to different activities, but you got to do what's best for you so that you can get over the sickness. Kid activities, if they're not feeling up for it, just don't push those extracurricular activities and let their body heal and get over the sickness. And then, there's a whole list of different supplements that you can be doing to boost that immune system. But I would say the two that I find are most important are probiotic and then the vitamin D. But like I said, there's a lot of really great natural resources, but the key, you have to be careful. Sometimes it's that outside in approach when you're still using that natural, like a supplement or whatnot, but it's still treating the symptoms. It's helping with the cough, helping with the digestive, So it's better to just let the body process it, right? Okay. Good. So if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. You can feel free to contact us here at the office or message us here on Facebook to the Health Chiropractic page. I thank you for your time, and please, thinking about that applied knowledge is power. What is something that you are going to take away from listening to this webinar and something that you learned that you can implement for your family? All right. Have a great day.